guys, so I am feeling like I need a very comforting and cozy kind of meal for dinner. So I got some ground beef from my local butcher and I'm gonna make a meatloaf. But I'm also going to sneak in, well, carrots are hard to sneak in because my kids will obviously see the orange in there, but I'm gonna dice it up very, very small. And zucchini is a lot easier to blend in, especially if you cut it up small. So I'm gonna make like a healthy version. I also have some homemade chicken stock. I'm gonna add a little bit of my homemade chicken stock to it. And it's gonna be delicious and comforting. I also found some organic russet potatoes, so I'm gonna bake potatoes. Guys, meatloaf and baked potatoes, come on. I'm also gonna make some broccoli, super iron-rich dinner. I don't know, maybe I'm just craving iron, but this is, it's gonna be nourishing and beautiful, and I'm gonna share it with you guys right now, so let's do it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is get our vegetables ready, because first we're gonna cook down the onions, we're gonna throw in the carrots and zucchini, and then we're gonna blend it all together. So, first things first, let's do our onion. I'm gonna cry. It's not you, it's me. Any tricks I've ever learned about not crying when you're cutting an onion? Ay. They don't work. And I'm talking like pro chef friends. They're like, you just kind of cry it out. So we're crying it out. I don't have one of my boards with me. I cannot swipe right. So now I gotta put this in the garbage. Hang on. So I want to do a small dice on this. It's gonna take a little while. So I am fully crying. All right, this looks good. That's a lot of onion. I'm only using about 1.5 pounds of meat, so I might not use all that. We'll see. Meatloaf usually takes a lot of onion. Maybe that's okay. That's about a cup. Okay, cool. Whoa, I'm crying. Amazing. All right, carrots. This is also a really big carrot, so maybe I'll just do half. It depends on how many people you're cooking for. You know, I'm cooking for 2 adults and 2 little ones, and 1.5 pounds of meat. That's good for dinner and then some leftovers. So that's why I like to do that amount, and it's like manageable. I always love to have my leftovers for my prep ahead action and reimagine it into different fun meals. I'm just gonna cut this kind of small. I'll probably end up using about half of this. This is a really big carrot. Oh my gosh, I wish I had my cutting board because this thing is like sliding. Okay, so we're gonna make this nice and small again because I'm cooking for little ones and I want them to not see a huge chunk of orange. You know, you can grate the carrot as well. I feel like the grated carrot gets like kind of mushy and I don't like that. So I prefer to have like a minced. It just kind of holds its shape more and its texture better. My son's like really weird about textures right now. And if anything is like mushy or gooey, he won't eat it. So next, zucchini. So I don't want any added moisture to my meatloaf because I'm already gonna be adding an egg. I have my homemade chicken broth I'm gonna add to it. So I'm gonna scoop out the seeds. So I don't want this adding too much extra moisture. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna mince this up small. Might only use half, so that I'll put into my son's greens, which I also have to make tonight. I'm trying to like get him into eating more solid vegetables, and he loves meat. So this is why this is kind of cool. I can try to slip some solid vegetables in there because he loves his puree still, which I'm all about because I'm like, look, at least he's getting his vegetables. So my oven is preheating at 325. I'm gonna start it off at 325. Normally a meatloaf cooks for like an hour and you cook it a little bit lower and then you just wanna gauge it. Okay, so this is great. I'm gonna put this with my carrots. Okay, so let's throw these in a pan and cook them up. I'm gonna cook them up with a little bit of butter and olive oil. I'm gonna start with my onion. I'm gonna add some thyme. I'm gonna add like a teaspoon of chopped thyme. Then cook these a little bit. Then we're gonna fold it into the meatloaf. I'm literally crying and sniffling. Don't make it weird. Okay, moving on. So we're gonna cook these down for about 5 minutes till they're like sweet and translucent. So now I'm gonna add my carrots and my zucchini. I'm also gonna add some of my chicken stock. By the time these are cooked, that chicken stock's gonna evaporate, but I love it for the flavor. And that'll help the carrots and the zucchini not burn, but cook nicely. Now we're gonna add our thyme. Cook this for a few more minutes and then pull this off the stove. See, already the broth is totally evaporating, so by the time I'm done cooking this, that'll be gonzo. We have our mixture here. You want to cool it slightly. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a little sprinkle of Bragg amino acid. That's literally a sprinkle. About half a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. A little bit of tomato paste. It's about a teaspoon. And I'm gonna add a 1/4 cup of my homemade chicken broth. With the nutrients, the flavor it gives, I just try to add as much of it as possible to like a lot of things that I cook. So now we're just gonna mix this together. Oh my gosh, that looks really delicious. We're also gonna add a teaspoon of salt to this. Meat can take a lot of salt. That's a little bit less than a teaspoon. That's like 3/4 of a teaspoon. I would say I like to undersalt things a little bit just for my kids. So that's 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt in there. Because you can always add salt after. So now what we're gonna do is I'm wearing my gloves because we're gonna be handling meat. So I love supporting local businesses when I can. This is from my local butcher. So now we're just gonna crumble this in. So the whole trick is you don't want to overmix this, okay? Because then it can get kind of mealy, which you don't really want to do. So I'm just lightly breaking it up. And then I'm going to take my gloves off. Excuse me. So now we're going to add 1 beaten egg. That really helps it stay together. And then we're also going to add... This is about 1/3 cup. Let's see how it looks, of breadcrumbs. These are gluten-free breadcrumbs. So the other thing that I love about meatloaf is because you can like tailor it to you, you know? If you don't want to add veggies and go strictly meat, you can. If you want to add more veggies, by all means. If you want it on the drier side, don't add as much egg or the chicken broth. You know, it's like meatloaf is really fun because you can do so many different things to it. This is actually looking really beautiful. I think I'm gonna sprinkle a little more breadcrumb. So that'll be about 1/3 cup. I'm using about 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Again, you don't wanna like overwork this, so I'm trying to move quickly and efficiently. Okay, now I had a bogey. Now I gotta go wash my hands, hang on. I'm back. Okay, now we're gonna put this in a loaf pan situation. So what I'm gonna do is spray a little bit of cooking spray in there, stick my mixture in, brush it with a little bit of ketchup, and pop it into the oven. That is what's happening. My kids are gonna be home any second, so now I'm like rushing to get this done. Okay, so let's put this in. Because once they're home, this video is not happening. They're swimming right now. Learning to swim. It's so cute. Okay, so we're gonna put this in here. You don't really want to overwork it, but you want it kind of all over the corners. Then we're gonna brush the top with ketchup and pop this in the oven. Okay, so I don't have my usual tools of like brushing stuff because I'm not at my regular house. So I'm just kind of smoothing this on with a spoon. We're just making it work. So just getting all the way to the edges. And the ketchup on it is it's a good extra step. It's so yummy. It makes you feel like you're eating an old school meatloaf. It adds sweetness. It gets like this little beautiful tang and kind of melts and caramelizes. It's so good. So the ketchup is worth putting on the top. Okay, into the oven we go. I'm gonna check it in 45 minutes. It'll probably take an hour, but let's check it in 45 minutes. Okay, so the meatloaf is done. It reads 160 degrees on a meat thermometer, so that means it's ready. Okay, dinner is ready. Yum. I hope you guys like this video. Subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you know when I put up another one, and I'll see you guys soon. Dinner time.